The East Coast, people that talk about the Atlantic accent or like Gilligan's Isle, with the Thurston Howell the Third, lovey-dovey, Spaulding it over here. How dare you? I mean, that's the East Coast people just in the last 100 years trying to act British, trying to, affect all of that. And that's kind of what runs our country today. But that's a side issue of culture. Max, I want to keep you about 10 minutes to the next hour. And then we've got Gerald Salente coming on for about an hour and 50 minutes. But I do want to start getting to these calls. Max Keiser is our guest. And we'll see what gold does today and the economy and all of this happening.
You got a new investment opportunity. If Prop 19 passes in California, you'd be able to buy marijuana-backed bonds. Because they're going to raise about $20 or $30 billion in marijuana bonds backed by future tax collections of the marijuana industry. So I've got a new portfolio of what I call gold and ganja. Gold and ganja will give you the income from the marijuana bonds and the capital appreciation from the gold. It's the Acapulco gold and ganja bond portfolio. This is so tempting, Alex. I'm thinking about actually getting back into the money management business directly, because I can't think of a better, easier portfolio than to have 50% in zero-coupon ganja bonds and 50% in gold assets. I could be making 5, 6, 7% a year income on the ganja bonds and get 20 or 30% a year appreciation on the gold. I'm so excited by this. I'm thinking about actually leaving the whole broadcasting thing and going back into money management, because this is the easiest money-making opportunity I've ever seen in 20 years.
Max, you're not going to leave broadcasting. But seriously, as for those that don't know, ganja is the Jamaican name for marijuana. Okay, let's go to some phone calls.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody knows that, Alex. None of your listeners are very, especially Matt. I bet Matt is laughing his head off right now in the control room because you're trying to explain to people what ganja is.
I think Matt's actually sleeping.
Industry in California right now. It's California's biggest cash crop. You don't think they know what ganja is in California? That means that it's one of the biggest cash crops in the entire American economy is marijuana. What do you think drives what's left of the American economy? It's guns and dope.
Thank you, Mr. Keiser. That'll be quite enough from you. All right, let's go to Ingo in Australia, the land down under. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the transmission.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me. And I have to say, big thank you for waking me up. Happened about 2 years ago. I'm absolutely fired up about what your work and what you do, the DVDs that you put out. It's absolutely enlightening. I now am a proud owner of the 911 with an inside job sticker on the back of my car. And I keep spares in the car with me, and when people pull me up, I hand them a few of these stickers. I say, go check it out for yourself. Use your brain, work it out for yourself. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
I have a question for Max, just regarding gold. I've done a lot of research in books and documents and stuff, and I've read the history about what's happened to gold in the United States. Where's it all gone to?
You're talking about the 8,000 rumored tons in Fort Knox?
Yeah, the 9,000 tons of gold in Fort Knox. There's always a transfer happening after every war, after every major event, and I'd just like to know, Ron Paul's talking about having, auditing the Fed and auditing the Fort Knox, but where's it all gone to?
Well, yeah, I think 2 points. Number one, it would be nice to audit the Fort Knox to find out if there's actually the amount of gold that they say that's in there. And now, where has all the gold gone? That's a good question. Germany would ask the same question because, interestingly enough, when I was in the Bundesbank a few years ago, they revealed to me, and James Turk over at goldmoney.com confirmed it, that most of Germany's gold is actually held in New York. China's been buying gold. I think they have surreptitiously been buying gold. And so there's also talk about gold in building number 7, that there's a huge black market in gold. But I agree that there has not been an adequate accounting of the gold stocks around the world. So if that answers your question, if you're looking for me to give you a definitive answer, I can tell you one thing. It's not in my apartment.
All right.
What about any conspiracies? Anything you may have heard of on the grapevine as far as where it could have gone to? Even the gold from the bottom of the World Trade Center, which was very hush-hush. It made it to the news once or twice out here, and apparently trucks were taking it out like it was on Die Hard Part 3.
Well, no, they love to put things in movies of what they're planning later, and it is true it was full of gold, and you're just not supposed to talk about that. You're supposed to drink fluoride water and inject your children with mercury and eat GMO salmon and die of cancer. Ingo, good to hear from you. God bless you down there in the land down
God
under.
bless you too, Alex. Good luck on the money bomb.
Thank you. Well, it's up to everybody. You know, we've already basically reached the goals we had the last 2 years, but we're bigger goal this year because everything's going to hell in a handbasket, and we've got to cover some gaps here. People believe in what we're doing here and want to see this continue. We need people to support InfoWarsMoneybomb.com, 888-253-3139. Gerald Celente coming up in about 15 minutes. Now, listen, I mean, we've just got unlimited calls here, so you may not get to talk to Max. You're going to end up talking to Gerald Celente, who's great as well. But let's go ahead and talk to Derek in California. You're on the air with Max Keiser.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man, I've been loving your show for so long. It's up early in the morning. I just want to say real quick to Max Keiser, I love both Max Keiser and Gerald Celente. You're my faves. I love you guys. But real quick, Max, and to Alex, I want to say right now in California, man, everyone out here, they're all broke. They're all talking about looking for a job. They all want somewhere to go. You know, quick on that. And I want to say to Max, I've been to Italy. I went to Amsterdam last year. I was in Switzerland. I was loving it. And I want to say to Max real quick, personal advice real quick. If your advice, if I had $5,000 cash, 23 years old, by in the San Francisco Bay Area, what would you do right now? Where would you go? Thank you.
Thank you.
What would you do with $5,000? Well, as you know, Alex, I don't do individual investment advice, but I don't think that was the question. I think the question was more, if you're pulling the ripcord and you only had $5,000, where would be your first port of call? And I think the answer to that would probably be somewhere in Brazil. They've got a growing economy. They've got a resource economy. They've got a program for naturalization for citizens who arrive that is pretty good. You can become a resident and a passport holder reasonably quick versus other countries.
But before you'd be worried about kidnapping, but now you've got as good a chance to be kidnapped in South Texas or Arizona as you do in some of the worst cities in Brazil.
Well, you could get shot in Austin and down in El Paso from the drug war happening just 100 miles away. But no, I mean, Brazil is huge, and they've got a lot of cities all over Brazil, and some of them are absolutely gorgeous and very calm, quiet, retirement-type cities where you can have an extremely nice lifestyle. And as I said, you can for that kind of money. If you're just going to try to hit the ripcord and pop up somewhere on the globe and try to start fresh, that would be my first choice.
All right. Thank you, Derek. Dave in Texas, you're on the air with Max Keiser.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, man, just enjoy the show. I think Money Bomb's great. It's the first one I've been in on, and, I just love the broadcast, and I've listened for a long time, first-time caller. And I have a question for Max about the pension grab. And I think, Alex, you did mention this beginning of the week. I think you'd explain how this whole thing might go down, but I just wanted to get it from Max and see what he has to say about it.
Yeah, they're going to grab them and say they're protecting them. Max, comments on that.
It's the pension grab. Were you talking about that earlier?
No, I mean he wants you to talk about how they're going to try to grab it. I mean, I guess if you don't give us your pension, you're with Al Qaeda.
Does it start at the federal level?
Grab. Oh well, in other words, the pensions. The way pension management works is they have a mandate to return a number of percentage per year, 5, 6, 7%, to try to make the actuarial commitment of the retirees that are eligible for their pension accounts. And so there are these huge pools of capital, and they're managed passively, and the people who manage them are not really all that high up on the banking food chain, I guess you could say. And so what happens is many times they get calls from Wall Street, and they'll say, and this happens all the time, you read about it all the time, somebody from J.P. Morgan or Goldman Sachs will call up and say, we've got $10 billion in collateralized mortgage, structured financial commitments that are going to be paying 6% over the next 10 years. And the pension manager says, Well, they pay 6%, and Moody's and S&P give it a AAA. Remember, Moody's and S&P are part of the conspiracy. They're part of the syndicate. They give their blessing to stuff that is worthless, essentially. And so the manager simply says, okay, yeah, I'll take it. So they put that in the pension account. Now what we're finding out is that the mortgage crisis is a trifecta of fraud, and that this paper is not worth 100 cents on the dollar. It's not going to pay any income. It's worth nothing. So the pension account has to come out and say, we're sorry, but those assets we thought we had, they're actually worthless.
But it's worse than that. It's worse than that. Even Bloomberg reported, 6 months ago that the government is, quote, ordering private pension funds to invest in failed banks. And there's no law, but when the federal mafia shows up and says, listen here, Mac, put the money in the bag of your deads. And they say, yes, sir, Mr. Government, let me lick your boots. I'm not with Al-Qaeda. Here, take Granny's money. They go, that's right. Next time I'll want more, Mac. I mean, that's basically the attitude here.
Well, this is leading to the mother of all pension grabs, which is the federally mandated directive that Social Security must buy all of this toxic waste. And this is how they're going to try to launder billions of toxic waste, is by the federal government saying Social Security now, under federal mandate, must buy this stuff. And, of course, that will obliterate Social Security. And anyone...
And then they'll blend all that together with all the derivatives, and then everybody's tied to it even more through financial terrorism and blackmail. And they're admitting they want to put taxes on your pension funds. They're going to take it and manage it. But after all, Max, don't you feel safe having your private pension fund taken by Wall Street run Washington? I mean, this is freedom. And they're training the troops to make sure we understand how good the government is right now. And look how good they treated those Iraqis. A million of them dead, and a lot of Americans laughed and enjoyed it. Well, now the same system is going to have a good time with everybody out there. Dave, God bless you. Good to have you on board with us. A few final calls with Max Keiser. Then we're going to play a quick video, and then we're going to have Gerald Celente on via video Skype connection. We are live. It is the 15th day, Friday, the 15th day of October, 2010. Infowars Moneybomb.com or 888-253-3139 to call and donate. Please help us, folks, continue and expand to the next level. Caller one, Gayla in France. You're on the air, and if you don't like tyranny, you must be with Al-Qaeda. Welcome, Al-Qaeda.
Hi, Alex. This is Kayla. I'm kind of nervous a little bit. My question is for Max.
It sounds like you have a little bit of a crush on Max right now, Gayla.
Well,
I'm married.
I bet this is going to be a surprising call. Well, I'm curious, yes.
Yes, Gayla, I'm going to shut up and stop being sarcastic. I'm a bit dingy. I apologize.
I'm from Texas, too, okay? I'm a Texas girl, too. I was born and raised in Texas, and I was born in Hereford, Texas, and never mind. But I live in France now. My question is for Max. Is he going to take your advice and look for a girl to get married and have some little Max babies?
Say that again, ma'am. I didn't... say that again.
He's going to actually take your advice.
Yes.
And find a good girl or whatever, and have some little Max babies.
Stacy just entered the room, and she's carrying a shotgun.
That's right. So I knew it. I could sense it. I could tell by her voice when a female's sniffing around. Gayla, you called up going after old Max. I think you got a pretty big...
I don't want to do the job. I just was curious because I live in France. And I thought, hey, we could work something out and find someone. But I just think Max is a wonderful person, and think that we need more. We need more guys like that. I'm
losing consciousness.
So Stacy's choked.
I'm gonna be dead.
All right, Max, you there?
Whoa, man, that was a close one.
Gayla, are you gone?
No, I'm in trouble, man.
Listen, I can't be a matchmaker here. Max is taken, Gayla.
Oh, heck. Well, then can I ask one more thing, and then you can let me go?
Sure.
My son loves it when you do Pinky and the Brain.
Okay. I can also do Marvin the Martian. Oh,
He doesn't know
dear,
that
I've had to
cartoon.
take all your pension funds. Now I'll have CENTCOM disintegrate you. We're occupying your country with paramilitary forces to protect you.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, that's not Pinky in the